Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, the Star Trek podcast. My name is Caitlin, and with me today are...
Jake.
Chris.
And Ames.
And we're here today, this week, as with every week, to discuss a couple of episodes of the Star Trek. And this week, it's episode 171, everybody.
Oh, wow.
And
Exciting.
it's not really like every week, because we're not together again.
Yeah.
That's true. But
We're
we have
still
much...
forced apart.
Hopefully anyone who listened to the audio nightmare that was last week's episode have decided to give us another chance, because we finally got our shit together here.
Yeah,
New
hopefully
mics
the
all
audio
around.
quality is a little better than it was. We got some equipment upgrades and
Aw, yeah.
I did actually listen to a little bit of it because, it hasn't actually gone up yet, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be based on your description, Jake.
yeah, I mean it's a lot. There's a lot of the stuff was nitpicky, but I mean my audio quality and Caitlin's audio quality in particular were pretty bad. But we both fixed our situation, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the other thing that's probably going to be a problem is that there were times when, like, I was trying to talk, but because of the way Zoom works, I don't think I was coming through. So I'm just like, well, someone else is trying to talk, and I'm like, finally just stop mid-thought, like, they can't hear me, fuck it.
Wait, how's that different from a normal episode?
No.
Wow! I mean, when you're right, but
Harsh.
shit. I didn't
Harsh.
expect to get read today. Jesus.
What are we doing today, Caitlin?
Well, today we're going to talk about two fantastic episodes of Deep Space Nine. Well, okay, one fantastic episode of Deep Space Nine and another episode that... the first episode...
But boys!
God. I know we'll get to it, but... Okay, so the first episode, the great episode, is Civil Defense. And in Civil Defense...
Wait, what's the second one?
Yeah, give us
Meridian.
the titles at
It's-
least.
It's
Yeah, we
Meridian.
usually get...
It's
Fine.
always
Wait.
Meridian.
It could be
There we
worse.
go.
It could be Alamarain.
Every week it's Meridian. Why?
I'd rather
God.
watch Alamarain again.
No, I'd rather...
We'll get to it.
I'd
Let's do
rather...
civil defense.
Yeah,
I'd
sorry,
just
let's-
rather end the podcast than ever have to see that again. And as a side note, I had seen most of that episode before, so literally during it, I'm texting Chris like, oh, is this fucking episode? Oh, gross. Is this that episode? And he's like, yep. And I was like, fuck.
When had you seen it before?
Pat was doing a rewatch of the series many moons ago, and I think I caught like the last half of it or so.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
it was unfortunate.
So you're
At the
spoiled
time,
on all kinds of things.
at the time I thought it was really cute, and now I hate it. So, one more example of how being self-isolated is not making me a better person. Or maybe it is, who knows. All right, Jesus Christ.
At least you're not trapped in the ore refining area.
True. Speaking of ore refining areas, Ames. In Civil Defense, we open and O'Brien and Jake are chilling out and they're trying to make an old ore refinery into a new ore refinery? I'm not really sure what they were doing, but at any rate, Jake finds a program on the computer that he can't delete, and O'Brien's like, oh, don't worry about it, we'll copy it and move it over there and I'll figure it out. But when they're trying to fuck around with it, it launches, well, it basically, the computer thinks that they're Bajoran workers trying to take over the ship. Oh, shit! And so
Not
it launches...
entirely wrong.
Not entirely wrong?
They have taken over the ship.
Oh, fair enough. Sorry, the ship, the station. I
station,
apologize.
for
I know,
sure.
I always do that. So, security protocols start, they get locked in the room, and they're like, oh no. And their oh no continues when they find out that they're gonna get neurocene gassed if they don't get the fuck out. It sucks to be them. They're able to escape thanks to Jake being a lithe creature, but meanwhile, the problems are spreading in the ship. People in command, I can't think of what the place is called. Is it command?
Ops.
Ops, thanks. The folks in Ops are now fucked. They're stuck in their room. They're trying to figure out, how do we make it stop? And instead they make it worse. Garrick shows up and is all like
Yay.
big swinging dick Cardassian, but he can't fix it either. And suddenly the replicator is shooting at them. Some fucking red shirt, where I'm not even sure where he comes from, scoots into camera view and she's gone.
Whoops.
Yeah, I literally was
Bad
like,
day.
where the fuck did he even come come from? Where was he? Was he replicated? Is that what happened? So anyway, and oh my god, I'm sorry, I've left out like the best part. So this is the Attention Bajoran Workers meme episode. So Gul Dukat has been popping up on screens all over the place like, threatening your life, threatening your life, threatening your life, threatening your life, Bajoran Workers.
Looking fucking fine.
Yeah, he did look good. Well then, what do you know? Gul Dukat himself shows up and is like, ha 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 ha, I heard myself trying to get assistance, so I had to come check it out. And then he's like, oh, looks like you've tripped the self-destruct, you stupid shits. And he's like, Kira, let's go talk business in the other room. And basically, he wants to have a garrison of Cardassians on board, and Kira's like, go fuck yourself. And in my opinion, the undertone is very much like he wants to jump her bones. And I get that confirmed later by Garrick, but we're not there yet. Gul Dukat is all like, all right, bitches, I'm gonna go back to my ship. I'll give you 25 minutes. When I come back, we're gonna make a deal. Fucking thinks he's Monty, what's his name from the show?
Hall.
Reference,
Python.
old show from the 60s, 70s,
Monty
80s.
Hall.
Monty Hall. So, however...
Montgomery Burns.
Excellent.
Come on down. However, much to his dismay, when he tries to leave the ship, there's another security protocol of someone even higher up than Gul Dukat being like, I don't think so, bitch. You're disgraced for trying to jump ship. Now you're all gonna die and you can't stop the self-destruct. Whoop, whoop. So now everyone is working together. Oh, and Odo and Quark are stuck together in security, whispering sweet nothings to each other. Odo tells Quark that he is the most devious Ferengi he's ever known. I mention this because we get payoff later. Anyway, they're all working together. We gotta figure out how to stop it. Oh, there's no way we can. Oh, but wait, if we can stop the fusion something from happening, maybe we can stop it. I don't know.
Let's make sure to poison O'Brien a little bit.
Yeah, fuck that guy. So they have to get to somewhere on the 34th level or some shit and stop a fusion reaction something. I don't know. But they save the day. Sisko and O'Brien crawl through a air duct thing. I'm not even really sure how Sisko figures it out because he kind of just looks like he's fucking pushing all the buttons. But somehow they're able to make this fusion overload thing shoot into the shields, which is the only thing on the ship that could take that kind of energy, Captain, or whatever the fuck. The day is saved, and then Odo tells Quark, I was lying when I said you were really devious. I just thought, he says, I thought we were going to die. I was trying to be nice.
Well, it's not that he told him, it's that Quark broke into his computer and read Odo's file on him. Wherein he calls him, like, a con man who's not as clever as he thinks or something.
Well, and then, insult to injury, he's like, tell me one Ferengi who's more devious than me. And
The Grand Nagus.
No, but then he mentions Rom.
Yes.
That's
And
just
Quark's
wrong.
uncle and Quark's cousin, who has
Gala?
a very nice moon.
Gala,
Yeah.
the one with the moon?
It's not too big of a moon, it's just enough to live on, guys. And Quark, you suck. Hugs and kisses. Okay, so that's the episode, sort of.
Yeah, I followed
Yeah.
almost none of the technobabble all episode long. Like,
I mean, the technobabble wasn't important.
Every couple of minutes, it's like, oh, we can do the hooter and to make sure that this goes through here, and oh no, we fucked it worse. Okay, in that case, if we fucked it worse, then let's connect this diode into this navel and put your butt on it. Oh no, we made it even worse and worse.
I mean,
That's
like,
about right.
that's all you needed to know is that everything they did just made things worse.
Over and over and over again.
I think you put it best, Caitlin. It was like, it's an escape room where the punishment is death.
Yeah, the punishment for failure is that you're gonna
This
die.
would be a fun escape room. I would do this escape room.
Aside from the
Minus
neurocene gas part.
Yeah.
And you also have to crawl through that tiny duct.
That's
That
fine,
looks
just make sure that you
terrifying.
go first. O'Brien's the one that gets fucked. And Jake, we're gonna leave you behind. Jake, I mean it this time. Don't follow us.
Yeah, well,
And
I
we're gonna
noticed-
need you to disobey.
So when they first escaped from the first room that they were in, the ore processing center, they sent Jake up through that little tube. And
Yeah.
then he opened the thing. And then I noticed that, so Jake was already in the chute. It was like the ore chute. Then Sisko climbed out. And if I was O'Brien, I'd be like, wait. Why am I last? Like, shouldn't the captain... Like, isn't the captain the one that usually goes
He's a commander.
O'Brien
Well, whatever.
knows
He's
his
in
fucking
charge.
place.
This is true.
Yeah, and then Cisco ripped one so nasty in that other tube that O'Brien passed out.
Nothing worse than jambalaya farts. Am I right?
Some Creole shit right there.
So hang on. Why does DS9 even have an ore processing unit?
Because
that's what it was.
Yeah, it was a mining.
That's what
thing.
they used to let the slaves do. Yeah.
Where are they mining in space?
Well, originally, remember, they were in orbit around Bajor.
Why don't they do the ore processing on Bajor?
Because they'd probably be outnumbered, right? I feel like if you bring them up to the ship, you have a better containment and such.
I don't know. You keep them in a mine. There's no way out of the mine.
Here's my idea. Is
Go
that
on.
so they mine the ore on Bajor, and then they ship it up to the station to be processed. And the reason they do this is because the processing process is very dangerous, and it could explode, or maybe it doesn't do well in oxygen, so they have to process it on the station and then ship it back. There you go.
There is oxygen on the station, though.
Yeah, maybe not in the room where they do the.
But also, why would they care less about blowing up their own station than blowing up some Bajorans? I mean, isn't accidentally blowing up Bajorans kind of a win-win situation for Cardassia?
It's their favorite thing to do.
That's
what I
true.
mean.
I mean, they also mentioned that this ore is incredibly unstable, so maybe they're thinking, let's keep this refined explosive as far from the planet as possible.
Well,
also, we'll have the workers there, but we can contain them.
Yeah. Also, if the workers revolt, you can just gas them all or blow up the ship.
Yeah,
which is harder
to
do.
You can gas them wherever they are. You can gas them any place.
True.
Yeah, but you know how expensive and time-consuming it is to get a mine ready for gassing and blowing up? It's just not cost-effective.
Yeah, it really doesn't make a ton of sense that Deep Space Nine was or Terok Nor was a ore processing thing. Yeah, right. I mean, that is kind of a dumb thing to begin with.
Listen, don't poke holes in this absolutely plot-perfect episode. How dare you?
It's emphatically not. And like I was reading up, like all of the writers could not figure out what the fuck this episode was going to be. Like they came up with the idea of, what if it's a thing that every time they try to fix it, it gets worse and worse and worse and all this stuff. And they're like, yeah, good, let's do that. And then literally the entire writing team was working on it, and they couldn't figure out what the actual story was, because there kind of isn't one.
The story is whatever was necessary to have that scene where Gul Dukat just stands there being all chilled out while a turret blasts 2 inches from his head.
That was
repeatedly.
Hot. I was into that scene, but everyone's surprised.
I have never understood the attraction to Gul Dukat until that moment.
I have to second that. Yeah, I was kind of turned on by it.
I mean, granted, he happened to know that the turret can't hit Cardassians, but still, that's still awesome.
Even knowing that, I would not trust it to work.
He doesn't even turn around to look at it.
Yeah, well,
like he beams in. He didn't know what stage of this nightmare they were in. They didn't know they were already in both self-destruct and laser ball.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Laser pinata is what I called it in my notes.
Laser pinata.
I like that.
I don't know. I do like this episode.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I really
it's
enjoyed it.
It's a cute idea. There's just not a ton of story. In fact, I also read that Armin Shimmerman was kind of frustrated and disappointed at the Quark-Odo plot because nothing new comes out of it for them. It's just kind of, let's put them in the situation, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode reminded me a lot of Disaster from TNG.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Split everybody up.
Nobody can talk to each other, and shit's gonna go real bad.
That's fair. It's much better than Disaster.
Oh, it's way
Is that the
better
one
than
with the
Disaster.
kids and the radishes?
Climbing the thing.
Yes, this is Disaster done well.
Beautiful Disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jake Sisko.
Is that what you called Dukat?
What did you say, Jake?
I said Jake Sisko wasn't doing anything with radishes.
No.
Well,
he
mean, he kind of was a couple episodes ago with his plants that his dad was like, this is fucking lame, let's go to the Gamma Quadrant. Maybe it was radishes. Maybe he was like, bitch, we've been there, we've done that. We're going to an unknown planet.
I also like that Jake still has his summer job with
O'Brien.
Chief O'Brien.
We still haven't seen any other fucking engineers do any engineering on this whole station. It's only O'Brien. Hello,
He's the
Cat.
only one. Oh, hello. Who's that? Black Cat?
Black Cat is here.
Hi, Black. Good boy.
They're being extra dicks because I'm on the microphone. There we go.
They're like, let me play with that.
Yeah, it's great though. You get so much just like Cardassianness, and because first Garrick just wanders in like, "Hi everybody, my code still works."
I don't know. The last we saw him, we were told specifically, "Don't trust this man." And he walks in and says, "Don't worry, I got this," and then makes it like 10 times worse.
So much worse. But and then him and Dukat trading barbs. Apparently,
I love him.
Apparently, Garrick helped take down Dukat's father in some capacity.
Yeah, I wish we'd learned more about that because I don't think it really comes up again on the show, but there seems like there's some interesting history there.
I love little teases like that never get fully resolved because I feel like we can imagine something more wonderful that way. Also, I really hope Dukat's dad's lawyer was the guy from Tribunal.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, perfect.
You flatter me, sir. You flatter me.
You flatter me.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Cardassia.
I really liked Garrick being like, "Yeah, your dad was a bitch, and so were you."
Yeah.
My favorite was Julian comes up to Garrick and he's like, "What are you smiling about?" Oh no, other way around. Julian's smiling about something, and Garrick says, "What are you smiling about?" He's like, "Oh, just you."
Yeah, because I think I had the same thought. It's like, what, dear doctor, is worth smiling about in this situation? And I thought, you, right before he basically said that. It's like, oh, well, fair enough then.
Hilarious.
I liked when Garrick was like, "By the way, your pants are ready to be picked up."
Oh no, he washed that stain out of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have to assume that they were torn in a pre-coital tumble of some kind.
Oh, no. Come on, let's be real. Every moment in Bashir's life has been pre-coital.
Gross.
Because he's a virgin.
Yes. I'm glad you spelled it out, Jake.
But yeah, I thought the escalation, even if there isn't a core story per se, the escalation was done really well. We're just like, all right, here's step 1, step 2, and it just keeps getting worse. I love when they were like, oh, well, if we do this, life support will be down, but we'll have 12 hours to try to take the station back. 2 hours, bitches!
Attention, Bajoran workers, you fucked up again.
You done fucked up.
Yeah, and it just
I'm
goes to show...
I'm gonna release the saber-toothed tigers in there.
It just goes to show just how absurdly awful the Cardassians are, that they built so many layers just to fuck up people.
There's a line that Garrick calls Dukat short-sighted. I'm like, how is any of this short-sighted? He had this entire thing planned out like any Cardassian, like, oh, just in case this scenario happens, I'm going to pre-record this program, I'm going to set it up so that the pinata ball jumps in and lasers everybody up. The only thing he didn't know is that his superiors also did the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what he should have seen coming.
Still, why not let the Gul flee when self-destruct has already started?
That does seem like a really good thing. I mean, that feels very Cardassian to run away with your tail between your legs.
It is the Gul's job to put down insurgency.
It's already set to self-destruct.
If you have to go that far, you're not worth keeping.
I will say that he was short-sighted in that what did you call it, a laser piñata? It was not also preset to play the Mexican hat dance. Because I think, or yakety sax. I think the scene really would have benefited from some hilarious comedy music. Red shirt.
Brilliant. Yeah, so, I don't know. I kind of felt that the ending just kind of happened.
That was...
Well,
what do you consider the ending? It just stopping?
Well,
it just stopped.
Yeah, so like Cisco crawls through a tunnel of flame.
A Cisco Inferno, if you will.
Nice.
I've been holding on to that one for a long time.
That's good. Yes, we failed to kill Miles yet again.
Oh, but we got so close
thanks,
this time.
Jake, you son of a bitch.
So I noticed that the fire in the flame tunnel was green.
Yes.
And that was reminding me of the flame in Disaster that Geordi and Beverly had to put out in the cargo bay.
Was that green?
It was green flame, and that was a plasma fire. So I don't know. I mean, that may have been...
it was their weed burning.
It may have been a deliberate callback to Disaster, having the flame be green. But if I recall from that, they couldn't be very close to it, not because it was fire, but because it was incredibly radioactive. They had to like move a bunch of shit to the other side of the cargo bay just so it wouldn't explode.
Yeah,
now
when
that you mention it.
when O'Brien and Sisko removed their sleeves so that they could crawl through, I assumed they were going to make a mask so they could like crawl through and breathe or something, but it was just so they wouldn't burn their fangs.
Look, as we've seen in this episode, burning your fangs is a big problem.
That's true.
Oh, yeah,
Dax
poor
gets a
Jadzia.
Yeah,
burn.
nice acting, Jadzia. The more we watch the show, the more I'm like, wow, she is awful. And she's not really getting better. She's like, oh, my fingies. Kira, I'm gonna need a hand.
Aw, 2 or
Whoa.
3 of them, please. I know, the only like redeeming moment I've seen out of Jadzia has been Blood Oath so far, and every other instance I'm like, yeah, she's here, whatever. Eh.
Oh, and it only gets better this week.
Oh,
Oh.
God, yeah.
Oh god,
We'll
not
get to
yet.
that.
Not yet.
We'll get to that.
I know. It's a
I know there
teaser.
wasn't-
It's a teaser.
Tease. Consider me teased.
So while there wasn't much development with Quark and Odo, they're, as always, those two work together brilliantly.
They do,
But
but
I-
they were just saying lines.
Yeah, but I do like the little bit of, again, this is more about Gul Dukat than anything else, but the fact that he kept Odo's force field on a separate circuit.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
Thought that was like,
You're a decent man who's gonna do the right thing. I hope you're happy. We're gonna die because of you.
Yep.
I really liked that.
So it didn't do much for those characters, but again, it did give us a little bit more about Gul Dukat.
Yeah, learning
But-
more about the station and like the kinds of things that the station still kind of has embedded in its walls that will get everyone killed, and then Dukat has to like swoop in and say, "How about I hit on Kira for a little while, and everyone's weirdly cool with it." I have a note on that for a second. But then also, I'd like to install more Cardassians here just in case this kind of thing happens again, right?
Well, that's what I was thinking, like, oh man, how long has he been waiting to get this call? Because he knew he left that.
I'm sure he has a
program
million of
there.
these programs. I'm sure he's got a dozen of these fucking things. Like he's got a dozen orphans of other gulls he knows waiting
Yeah.
to like bring to the forefront. He's got a million of these plans just waiting for their moment.
Yeah.
I don't mean to backtrack, but the one thing that we did get from the Quark Odo stuff is that whether or not he thinks that Quark is very devious, he definitely listens when he talks, because he's like, yes, I know about your uncle and your cousin with the moon. So, there's a grudging,
Love.
grudging
love.
No, I mean, I think they're
affection, I was going to
friends.
say, but yeah,
I think they're friends.
Yeah.
I think they just love to heckle each other, and if one of them were gone, the other one would feel like nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What would Spy be without Spy?
There you go.
So.
Yeah, but pulling it back forward again to the Kira thing.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Nana, and I learned we've been pronouncing Nana's name wrong this entire time.
It's pronounced Nana?
Nana?
Yeah.
Wow, I hate
Nana,
that, but I
Nana?
still love her,
Hey,
so I
hey,
guess
yeah.
I'll...
Goodbye?
But Jesus
Nana.
God, she was so opposed to the way that Dukat just kind of like throws some zingers at her in this kind of. It's not. I didn't even see it as a romantic way. Like when I read this note, I had to like go back and think about what it was referring to. And then Garrick says, "Stop hitting on the girl. She's not into it."
Well, he like stands kind of behind her like, I'll be back in 25 minutes. Shall I? I don't know.
He acts like that to everybody.
Yeah.
He's done that to Sisko.
Okay, but here's the difference. He had a boner while he was doing it with Kira. It was just off camera, but I could sense it.
And I think
But
I think we learn later too that Dukat's got a little of the wrinkle nose fever.
Gross.
Yeah.
Well, and it actually, to me, in a way, it sort of makes sense. Like, I don't know if this is true, so stop me if I'm wrong. Are they kind of going for, like, a weird Third Reich-y type of parallel to their treatment of Bajorans? Because if so, it fits in really well there. There were plenty of people who were taking advantage of their posts to take advantage of the people they were imprisoning. So if that's what they're going for...
I think they're going for a lot of things, because the story of the Bajorans fits so many different types
Yeah.
of people's stories.
Well, I guess, too, is particularly because there's, like, a specific religious aspect to the Bajorans. I just wonder if that's what they're getting at, but...
Well, and I can't remember now if this was true or not, but in the Noir Odo episode,
Nuodo.
Ooh.
wasn't he having an affair with a Bajoran in that?
That was cut. That element was cut from the episode.
Okay,
It
okay.
shouldn't have been. Damn.
I know, I was so pissed.
Well, don't
Especially
worry.
since
We'll
they're
get a little
doing it
more.
now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you feel like if they had left that in, then if you had already, well, I guess you did know it because you just said you knew it, but the rest of the audience had seen that, then this whole stop hitting on Kira thing maybe would have been a little less left field.
That's true. Yeah, it comes out of left field, and everyone in the room is just kind of, they just kind of take it casually, like, that's just a thing he said. It's not, like, creepy and weird. Whilst Nana Visitor says, like, Kira considers him Hitler. Kira would not be okay with him saying that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Because, just 5 years earlier than now, he could have done anything to her.
Yeah, but being fair, they were in the middle of a crisis, which would keep people from going, dude, not cool, except Garrick.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I think it was more
particularly because-
Garrick needling Dukat, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but at the point when Gul Dukat first shows up, they actually think that he might be their only hope. So
Kind of
they're
was.
definitely, well, I know, until he fucked it up, but the point is, like, you're not going to be like, what the fuck, man, to the person who, like, quite literally might hold your life in their hands. So.
His scaly, scaly hands.
Yeah.
Ames, we are fucked up. We have
That's
problems.
gross.
I love
Many
it.
problems.
I love us.
I love us too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else with this episode, really. But if not, if Nana felt that way about this episode, I hope you have something about next episode. Because...
We'll see. I forget. I'll look at it.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, so
We'll get there.
if Dukat hadn't have shown up, I don't think anything would have been different, right? Because they were already...
No, Dukat was the one that told them how to take down all the
that's right. He told them how to...
What are those?
Yeah, there was some sort of thing they had disconnected but not removed.
The disruptors or
yeah,
something?
the force
Yeah.
fields. Yeah,
Mhm.
he told everyone how to take the force fields down.
Oh, yeah.
once,
Because they
couldn't
overloaded
before.
the force field system.
Right, and he also told them, exactly how the self-destruct works, and he was the one that had the idea about, like, oh, did you remove those thingamajiggers out from underneath the thing? Oh, well, there's a piece of equipment that if you left it there could help.
Yeah, so those things, they didn't really say what they were, but it implied that the purpose of those things normally is to make it so that force fields are lethal if you touch them.
Yeah.
Go
Seems pretty
Cardassians.
Cardassian.
Yeah.
Haven't we
Yeah.
touched force fields a lot before?
Yeah, but they were disconnected.
I see. Okay.
yeah, so
okay.
the Federation or the Bajorans turned them off,
Ah,
but that's also why they weren't.
weak ass Bajorans.
Which is interesting because I noticed when they were turning those things off, they kept cutting back to, because it was right after the Cisco's and O'Brien got into the hallway and they were testing force fields, and I was just like, don't touch the force field right now. They're about to overload it with a lethal death device, which also like caused the whole station to shake a lot.
Well, because I think they basically fried some sort of major power conduit that runs through the whole station. That was the impression I was under. Which, like, yay, we survived! Hey, Chief, we've now fucked the place worse than on your first day. Have fun!
Well, it's also I'm assuming that was also what caused the fire that they had to crawl
Yes.
through.
Yeah.
Yes, and the pile of rubble blocking the hallway.
There's always a pile of rubble. What
Jake
is it with
could
these
have
places?
Jake could have fit through that rubble just fine.
I think that was like Quark's rubble that he ordered, that he bought a few weeks ago, and he just like shoved it in that hallway.
Why is it that in every episode where you have to go and fix something, you have to crawl through a shaft? Why is the entire, like, it's on every spaceship, it's in every station, it's everywhere, just crawlable shafts?
Because
That
like
lead right to where
Die
you're
Hard
going.
style ventilation shafts wouldn't work in the 24th century, so we needed something similar. Yeah, but crawling through shafts is like a staple of action adventure cinema and TV, right? Because you have Die Hard.
Yeah.
I've been watching.
Better Call Saul.
Well, I have been
Boondock
watching that. I
Saints?
don't remember if there was any duct crawling affair in that. Was there a duct crawling?
Oh, it wasn't a
incident?
duct, it was a tunnel.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Spoilers
There
for
was
Better
a
Call
tunnel.
Saul.
Yeah, that's a good point. Spoilers.
I suppose an in-universe reason it would be shafts like that is just that if every access tunnel was big enough to just walk through comfortably, like, your ships would have to be so much bigger.
I mean, I guess the question is, why would we even need access tunnels? Because most of these tunnels seem to go parallel to regular
Hallways.
walking hallways.
That is true.
So why don't you just make panels in the hallways that you can remove? Oh, wait, they have those too.
True.
Oh, and we got to see the return of those sweet, sweet handheld emergency lights.
The palm beacon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, for
fucking-
whom is that a comfortable ergonomic experience? All right, here we go. Feel like I'm just not holding anything. It's making my
Didn't even
hand
look
tired.
like, I don't know if you noticed this, but it didn't even look like Avery Brooks was holding it in, the standard,
Yeah.
hold it up above your shoulder. But he was just holding it as though it were a flashlight.
You know who that would be good for?
Nobody.
Arex.
Oh,
Oh,
fair enough.
God.
With his third
Especially his
arm.
like forward arm with
Yeah,
the
he
hand
could
is
just-
kind of
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think his species invented those. They hold them in the middle arm that sticks out front anyway,
Also-
and everyone else in the Federation is like, great.
Everyone else in the Federation is all like, headlamp.
Yeah. I don't remember being annoyed by them when we saw them in TNG, as Chris reminded me when we first see them, but man, it fucking drove me crazy this episode. I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, a lot of this era's ergonomics don't make sense. The flashlights, when you really think about it, the phasers even, like holding them like a remote control and having the thumb thing.
Yeah,
like,
I don't get why they didn't just stick with the gun thing. Was it because they were trying to get away from like the gun violence aspect for the show?
Probably.
Because I mean, I
Oh,
get that, but who the fuck is like?
I actually really like the Bajoran disruptors that we've been seeing more and more of.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like a
Because
pistol
Kira had
grip.
one. Those are cool.
I don't remember
Well,
what those look like, unfortunately.
It looks like a
They
pistol
just sort of-
with like
Yeah.
a big guard around the front
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, I see.
I mean, that's the other thing too, is like everyone else in the galaxy, when they have a gun, it's just a gun. Only the Federation is walking around like, here's our death wands.
Well, I think
Well, they
it's
have to make
possibly
sure
also
they can
because
have,
the Federation likes to pretend that they don't use or need guns. It's like the fucking sonic
Yeah.
screwdriver, right?
Yeah,
It is a
They're mostly
weapon.
there because they have a stun setting too. They're used mostly for stun setting, I
The,
believe.
Yeah.
the sonic screwdriver though doesn't usually hurt people.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he'll like
It's a
point it at
magic
something and it will
wand.
cause something to fall down and kill somebody.
He doesn't do that though.
Mm,
That's not a doctor
they don't
thing.
show that on camera.
Fair enough.
He's like
It's
Batman
like-
that way.
I was just gonna say it's like that college humor or whatever video it is where Batman is just breaking people's necks and he's like, "What? They're not dead. They're just sleeping."
I was thinking of that the other day for some reason.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't, but I am now.
Anyway, the Rossi clock is only with me today because I'm the one in the house, and it's telling me we should move the fuck on.
Do we have to?
Oh,
We do have to.
I
us,
know.
Tell us what we have to move on to, Caitlin.
Well, since we were speaking of shafts,
Shaft.
this week,
Oh god.
Jadzia is getting the shaft multiple times. And so are we, because we have to watch this mess. So
Ugh.
in Meridian, our diligent crew of Deep Space Nine encounter a magically reappearing planet, which it exists in a dimension that is parallel or intersects our dimension, and every years
60.
60 is it always 60 years?
I think so.
Okay. Every 60 years, it goes from being like weird non-corporeal paradise thing to physical paradise thing. However, what we find is that these people, first of all, are friend. They are friend. We go and visit them. They're very nice. But every time they become like physically whatever,
Yeah, there's only like 30 of them too.
there's not many of them. And every time they become corporeal again, that window of time when they are corporeal is getting like smaller and smaller. People are dying. They're not having time to reproduce because they're only around for like 12 days. And apparently 60 years away from people makes them fucking awkward as shit because our buddy Tehran decides that
Nope, Dural.
oh, is it Dural?
Tehran is our new friend who's really into Kira. Dural is the Meridian man.
Oh, damn it. Okay, well,
Good try though.
damn it. Well, Dural starts out his small talk by asking Jadzia how far down her spots go, which is fucking inappropriate.
And we've seen they go down to her feet.
All the way down.
But do they
the-
come back up again?
I mean, I have
know.
said that I think they go up the butthole.
Well, thankfully, I'll never be able to shine one of those horrible emergency lights up her asshole to see if you're right. However, anyway, so she and what's his name? Dural and Tehran. All right. She and Dural have a little romantic fling, and it's disgusting. while trying to figure out what happened to this planet and how can we give you guys more time and gamma rays and shit. Meanwhile...
More technobabble I didn't follow at all.
Yeah, lots of technobabble this week. But I sort of skipped the best part of the episode, which is at the beginning...
Best part?
Yes. We
Ugh.
open... Well, no. I just mean the beginning of the episode when they're... I'll just get to it, for Christ's sakes. All right, so the episode opens and Kira and Odo are hanging out and she's explaining coffee and he's explaining that he doesn't have taste buds.
Yes, this is the best part.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And
Okay, got it.
Thank you. So, so this dildo, Duran, shows up and he's
Tehran.
God damn it! I thought it was... Oh, it's with a T. Tehran. I spelt it Duran, like Duran, but with 2 R's, so Tehran. Okay.
Well, he certainly is hungry like the wolf.
Barf. That's good, but barf. So Tehran. Jesus Christ.
Capital of
I
Iran.
thought it was Shran.
I see what you did there.
I don't get it, but okay.
You will in a couple of years.
Yay! So Tehran shows up, and he's a business associate of Quark's, which means we automatically know he's scum. We'll find out how much worse he is before the end of the episode. But basically, he's like, "Oh, Kira, we had a great time last night, huh?" And Odo is visibly uncomfortable, and becomes more uncomfortable in the crotchal region when Kira grabs his hand and says, "This is Odo, my lover." And then they start calling each other sweetheart until this Tehran fellow goes the fuck away. But he's not done. He really wants to plow Kira. So
Any Kira will do.
Any Kira will do. And so he offers Quark a bunch of money to make him a Kira-shaped hollow sweet fuck doll.
So he's Barkley.
Yeah. Yuck. So our B plot is watching Quark run all over the fucking ship trying to find a way to trick Kira into jumping into a hollow suite so that he can make her into a hollow fuck doll.
Get me pictures of Spider-Man and Kira too.
Yeah, the B plot definitely.
It's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable.
It's fucking gross.
It's super
But it also
gross.
contradicts a lot of things we already knew about the holodeck.
How so?
How so?
We have tons and tons of instances where the holodeck just makes the person for you already without needing all this bullshit.
Well, I don't know, because like when it happened, for example, when Gordo was doing it to make Leah Brahms, he was building on like a personnel file that already existed that was like linked directly to the computer. The
And
holosuite.
nothing exists like that for Major Kira?
Well, we don't
No, I'm
know.
sure it does, but like I don't think they're letting Quark plug his holosuites directly into Starfleet's database. I mean, ultimately that is how he does it, though,
Yeah,
right?
he breaks in.
He breaks in to do it, but he figures, he'll try the easy way, trick her in by making her think she won a free hour in the holosuite, try to take her picture when she's hanging out in the promenade, while Odo, like, really awkwardly and obviously keeps, like, blocking the shot, which I thought was delightful. Why is Quark trying to take your holo
Yeah, I actually,
picture
I mean,
whatever the fuck?
despite the creepiness of the whole plot, I thought, like, the scenes about it were somewhat fun.
I found it really, really overwrought because, the second Kira comes into the bar and it's like, okay, someone wanted me in here, what's up? All you gotta do is Quark say, Kira, something happened in the holosuite. I need you to come look at it. That's all you need to do.
This is why Odo said that he wasn't the most devious Ferengi he knew.
True. See, it wasn't just someone... the best part, the only good part of this whole thing is the fact that she shows up because I heard Morn needed to talk to me. Oh, you just missed him. Oh, well, I gotta go. And then she's like, Quark, I don't have time for it. So she had time for Morn, but not anything
Everyone
else.
has time for Morn.
I was gonna say,
it's amazing.
Morn is apparently, like, the most prolific and legendary lover on board the ship, because I feel like Jadzia is into it too, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
Jadzia is the one that turned Kira onto him, remember? Because Kira was like, what?
Morn just has dicks down to his knee, apparently. I don't know.
12 of them.
Or like a really prehensile tongue of some kind. He's got something. He's rocking something the ladies love. I don't know. And the gentleman. Let's not, I feel like a show I worked on once described people in the future as being kind of casually bisexual, and I just kind of feel like that's probably, like, we would call that pansexual now, I think, but I feel like that fits.
I would say that definitely applies to this series.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely do more with that. Yeah, and so the creepy customer guy, so played
Yes.
by
Turan.
Turan.
Jeffrey Combs in his this is his first Star Trek appearance, I think.
This is his first of many appearances.
Many appearances.
So many.
Why do I know the name Jeffrey Combs?
He
He is a famous actor.
yeah.
Oh, that explains
He
it.
used to be. He got his start, or he came to fame because he was in a couple of like real great B movie horror films.
Oh yeah. He was in a From Beyond.
From Beyond and Reanimator.
And yeah, like some Lovecraftian stuff, which sounds up his alley.
Yeah.
He also
But yeah,
originally auditioned for the role of Riker.
Oh.
He did not get it.
Yeah, I don't really. I'm looking him up. I don't really recognize him, but
You're gonna see
the many,
a lot more of him.
Yeah, I see here the many faces of Jeffrey Combs.
And he will almost always be under makeup.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm also seeing that. I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting, though, to this particular episode, because I felt like he kind of had some, like, Odo-esque features of, like, not quite shaped faceness.
Mm.
And I wonder if for one glimmering moment Odo had hope because he was like, oh, this is what Kira's into.
Oh, but man, during that opening scene, though, I mean, he definitely reverted to his liquid state in his pants a little bit.
Oh no! Well, he's talking.
Sweetheart.
He's talking first about how he doesn't have taste buds, and he's never he said he's tried to drink something once before, and it was a mess.
It was messy.
So I said to myself, "Oh no, Odo wet himself." And then later in the scene, oh no, he just wet himself.
Jizzed in him
way.
pants, all right. Yeah, unsatisfying, not to mention messy. I also
Messy?
wrote down.
I don't want to talk about it.
This is Odo, my lover. I made note of that quote. So good. And there is that moment afterwards where he's like looking at his hand like, Jake, can you give me an Odo sound, please? I was hoping for something. Perfect, thank you. All right, it's enough.
Yeah, so the B plot, like, it was all just so... The basic premise, the starting point of it was so creepy and unpleasant that it made it hard to...
It made it hard, all right.
Any enjoyment from any of the scenes related to it.
Yeah.
Until Quark's head was on the body at the end.
Yeah, I mean, the Quark head on the body thing, whilst a cute way to end it, like also entirely baffled me as to why Quark did this before he got the money.
Quark didn't do it.
No,
Kira
but why
and
did he go
Odo
through? He
did
went
it.
through all the trouble though to build this program, which Kira and Odo then hacked. But he did all that work, all that running around trying to sneak photos from the bushes without having gotten any payment.
Well, because he was only gonna get payment on delivery.
But I feel like
But he
that
delivered it.
I also,
he handed it off.
I also feel like that wouldn't have been very
he said he
Quark-like.
wouldn't. He said he wouldn't. Well, it's two things, right? He wouldn't pay him until he saw Kira, which he didn't really. I mean, kind of. But I think part of it is he keeps sweetening the pot, too, because he's like, oh, if this works, I might just buy a copy for my home holosuite, which I think... Listen, this is a man who thinks only with his wallet and his lobes. And I think, honestly, he probably would love to have a Kira holosuite for himself.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, very
Or for
sadly.
other people. Great for business, great for Quark's own personal masturbatory fantasies, I'm sure. Like,
yeah, give it to Odo for later.
well...
No,
do we think Quark is now scanning everybody that goes into the holosuite just in case?
He always has.
Yeah, probably.
I imagine he always has. I do also happen to know that we still haven't seen Kira in the holosuite because that isn't even Nana Visitor's body because to make that scene work, they had to put the woman actor in a big latex head so that they could have a placeholder for where to put the Quark head. And
she's claustrophobic, right?
Claustrophobic, and after second sight? No. Second skin. Second foreskin.
Oh.
Eighth skin.
I was gonna say that!
She was all like, no, not doing this again. So that is her body double.
Huh. Well, that's a shame, because I was gonna say the one enjoyable part
I was just hoping it was Armin Shimmerman.
I loved that when his head just popped up, because I had envisioned, because they were like, yeah, let's go give him a surprise. I actually kind of expected it to actually be Kira and that she would just clobber this guy in the nutsack.
He'd be
as
into
Yeah,
that
me too.
too, though. I bet
That's
you
true,
he's into
yeah.
that.
Well, that's still how I kind of saw it happening. So when Quark's head popped up, I was like, oh no, I was not expecting that. I've been waiting for you.
I think part of the reason Turan was really pissed off was because he was still kind of into it and didn't like that fact.
Yeah, it's still my boner. It's moved. Son of a bitch.
Oh.
We've avoided it long enough. There was an A plot to this
Brigadoon.
episode, which is
gross.
somehow worse than this plot.
No, we talked about it. We don't have to go back to it, right?
I don't know. Chris brings up what the episode was based on. Have you seen Brigadoon, Chris?
No, I just, as we were talking about, I was like, wait a minute. Isn't Brigadoon about this? All I know about is that it's about a village that appears once every 100 years.
Would you like to know what it's about? Because I watched it this week.
Tell us,
film,
Abe.
Why?
the film.
Tell us the tale.
I know it's a musical.
Yeah, it's a musical from like 1940 literature from Lerner and Lowe, I think is the names of
Those
the
sound like famous
book
musical
writers.
people I've heard of.
Yeah, so Brigadoon is a musical. There's a movie version of it from like 1950 Predator, but I watched the television version from 1966 starring Robert Goulet and
God.
Chris's favorite Peter Falk.
Nice.
Oh, I love Peter Falk.
Does he sing?
He doesn't
Can Peter
sing.
Falk sing?
No,
Okay,
he's not
good.
one of the characters that sings. But the gist of Brigadoon is these two guys are wandering around. They're lost in Scotland, and they happen upon this city that isn't on this little tiny town that isn't on the maps. And they go in to go get their car fixed or go do whatever. And the people there are all like from 200 years ago. Like dressed as, people from 200 years ago, Scotland. And
Guessing they're not going to be able to help him fix the car, eh?
they have no idea what the car is. They're like, oh yeah, we had trouble driving in. And it's like, oh, is the horse okay? Because, yeah, they're hilarious. But
time travel jokes.
But
And
the
they're
main,
like, we've got 10 horse under this hood. Because it's the 40s. Sorry, Ames, I won't interrupt you again.
Oh,
Go
no
ahead.
worries. Please do. But the main guy falls in love with one of the ladies in the town of Brigadoon, but then she reveals that, oh no, we only exist every 100 years, and none of us can leave the town. And the only reason you can come to the town and join the town is through true love.
Ugh.
Ugh.
But then the Peter Falk character convinces the guy that you can't stay here. You gotta fucking go home. So they go home, but the Robert Goulet guy, is so sad about it. He's like, oh no, 100 years. I can't wait 100 years. So he just goes back
be
to where
alive.
he just goes back to the town to the place where the town was, sees something in the distance, and is just there all of a sudden now because true love works in magical ways. And I'm like, no, fuck this. God damn it, show. That makes even less sense.
That does sound right for Peter Falk, though. God knows Columbo is always ruining everyone's grand plans.
He's very practical.
Just one more thing.
But yeah, like the writers fucking, they don't like talking about this episode. It's one of those
Good.
episodes where they all just know, that episode. And I have a good quote here from Ira Stephen Bear, who is a big fan of Brigadoon. And when he decided to have one of the episodes be based on Brigadoon, his comment is, I am a moron.
Excellent.
As long as he knows.
Yeah, this was rough. I mean,
The idea of a planet popping out of phase and coming back every so often, that's great. I like
Yeah,
that.
but trying to make it
Yeah,
a
but
love
used-
story with the fucking
No.
character who has the least charisma.
Jadzia?
No shit, but not just that, but like the person who we keep saying, like, oh yeah, we finally got some backstory, but she had no agency. Now we get to know Jadzia better, and apparently her character is, all I think about is boys.
Boys.
I'm boy crazy. Ah!
Oh my god, she delivered the let's count each other's spots line twice. After the first one, I was like, ugh. And then she says it again, and I'm like, no.
Let's not. Says he doesn't have spots. He has
like-
gold eyeshadow.
Yeah, it's like they wrote those lines before they figured out the makeup
Yeah.
and then didn't change the lines.
I think instead of Meridian,
Barf.
this episode just should have been called Boys Are Yucky.
And like,
Because, he came on way too strong at first.
And she was into it.
Why was she into
She
it?
doesn't need that. She gets fucking laid left and right. She's
Here's-
fucking her coach.
Here's why she's into it. Here's
All
why
right.
she's into it.
All right.
She's lived like 8 fucking lifetimes now, or 7.5, or however many. She's on her 8th host or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is something new. This is something that none of her other lives have seen anything close to being a light or like an energy force.
Oh, you mean the different lifestyle. I thought you meant
Boys.
The dick? No.
because
We've
I was
never
going to
seen
say
anything like that dick.
Well, I was going to say to the never seen anything like this, I would say it's almost like she was excited because someone was pursuing her like Curzon would pursue someone, and that probably somewhere deep in the consciousness gave Curzon a half of a Woody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that doesn't even... So, obviously, the plan at the end was that she was going to stay on the planet and go to their alternate dimension and become an energy being.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then 60 years from now, they'll fix the sun
But, like,
thing.
how do we know that wouldn't totally fuck up the symbiont? Like...
I was thinking that, like, I feel like part of the deal when you get one of those things is, like, at that point, your life isn't entirely your own, you know? You're now, like, caring for this symbiont, and, like, you're not allowed to just go, fuck it, I'm a jaunt off to another dimension.
But she'd
like,
come
obviously-
back. 60 years from now, she'd be back,
Well, yeah,
and they
but-
would try
but
to fix the
Would
planet.
the symbiont be okay?
Who
Yeah,
knows?
this is such a weird thing.
Is it like, while she's an energy being, is the symbiont still accumulating new memories from her? Because it
Is
was
it
like a
tethered to
physical
her in
link inside of
capacity?
her, right?
Are they having memories while they're just a
Well, so that was the other
consciousness?
thing, right? So they talk about how they live they are alive and they are conscious in the other
Yeah.
dimension. They just don't have physical form, which makes me think
Yeah.
that they build memories and things. But it also seems very odd that there were children running around that, yeah, I would understand that there would be people that would be child-sized in this form because they would have only have aged however long.
Yeah.
But theoretically, they're like hundreds of years old in terms of their consciousness. So why are they running around like babies playing with ball?
Mm.
Because
Well, I wonder-
because they're just reveling in being physical again.
I
mean,
guess, but then like the adults, the people that are...
I don't know if you're maturing whilst you're a
I
consciousness.
mean, why wouldn't you? I mean,
Because there's nothing to do. There's nothing to like be engaging with. There's nothing
Fuckface
to
and
learn.
that broad were both, seemed like they had that...
Fuckface and that broad.
The two
Dur-
people who
Dur-
had speaking lines on the planet.
Okay, Dural and Selton.
Sure. They both seemed like they had this like air of enlightenment to them and just the way they talked and
They were just dicks. That's why.
yeah. Ugh. And like
that seems right.
honestly, now I noticed that this was a Frakes directed episode, which is
It
very disappointing.
was.
I don't know if he
Well, he didn't write
No,
it.
but was he involved in the casting? Because
I don't know.
that guy was
Yes.
terrible.
Because,
Yes.
so I
He did pick
actually, because I was like,
Combs,
oh
which was
man.
a good choice, but
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's the only reason I know he was involved, was because I looked up Combs, because like, oh wait, is this the first time we see him? And the article I found was like, apparently at some point, not only did, he try out for Riker, but apparently him and Frakes were in the same room auditioning for Riker or something, because it mentioned specifically that he remembered Combs from auditions back then, and that was part of the reason he cast him.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean Frakes was in the room for auditions for this episode.
no, Frakes. Yeah, but Frakes called up Combs to say,
Yeah.
I'm directing an episode of Star Trek. Do you want to be in it? I think is the idea.
So in theory, he had some say
Yeah,
over the
so
casting
he's responsible
of
for
this
Combs
episode.
being in this episode, is what Chris is
All right,
saying.
but that doesn't explain Dural and Selton.
No, I mean, we don't know if
No.
he was responsible for casting them, but either way, I don't know, because what kept occurring to me is that guy, not great, not a great actor. Terry Farrell, not a great actor. And the two of them being the centerpiece of this episode and trying to do a romance plot with each other, just like it might not have been as bad if they had more
Yeah.
competent actors
if
doing
one
this.
of them had acted.
If it was Bashir and like literally anything else, it could be like with a pony or something, and you'd be like, yeah.
No, because aside from when he's with Garrick, I don't think I've liked Bashir romantically with anyone so far.
Well, he's got a touch of the Geordie to him. He's just he's always in pursuing, and he's really bad at women.
Although
like, and it maybe in a slightly
down
different
that
way,
aspect of his
but
character, I think,
They have, but
mercifully.
thank God. No, but because I was thinking that, like, this is one of those stories that, and you see this a lot in television, not just Star Trek, but, like, with any kind of show where the status quo has to be returned to by the end of the episode, more or less. Like, it's like, all right, obviously they're not going to add this guy to the cast. Obviously she's not going to leave, so something's going to go wrong. But when an episode is done well, you can still have this enjoyment or tension or whatever just coming. Yeah, you can be like, well, how are they going to fuck it up, you know? But this, I was just like, I don't care. I'm so happy that I know this doesn't continue.
Yep.
I hate this pairing. This is terrible.
We won't have to deal with this guy again for 60 years.
I say
the only like good thing that came out of it was the scene where Ben had to be sad.
Yeah,
he was really
I was
good.
just gonna say that was like the
he
one
was great.
scene that was good for me was the scene with Cisco and Dax.
And not just sad, like tearful, like crying, like an adult man crying on TV. I mean, you see it more now, but I just feel like
well, also,
you just didn't see
it's
that.
not just and he's also the hero. It would be like Captain Kirk having a emotional breakdown, and not with a woman's mind in his body.
Like when Spock dies. Spoilers.
Yeah, well, I know, right? But that was like a huge moment.
Yeah.
Well, and even he didn't bring the tears, I feel like Cisco did.
Yeah, there was a lot of like choking them back, but
this was so tearful. I loved that moment.
yeah.
I will say though, I'm starting to find Cisco calling her old man all the time a little problematic, and I think it's because of Blood Oath. I think it's because her old Klingon buddy was like, "Yes, I accept your new gender identity so easily." That him continuing to call her old man, it's not quite dead naming, but it made me a little uncomfortable this week. And I feel bad about that because I love their friendship.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay if they're old friends. It's
sort of a nickname she allows him to use.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of, for some reason, bothered me this week.
Mm.
And I don't know if it was just because she was being such a girl, if that was part of it. Because, like, this was just such a, I just need some time, Benjamin. 60 years. I was like, oh, God.
You know,
just
they were there
stop.
for what, a couple weeks?
They were 12
If
days.
that.
They were only there for 12 days.
12-day fiance.
Ugh.
We've seen people fall in love in less in this show.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah, and it's always dumb when they fall in love that fast.
Listen, Doc and Natira was beautiful.
You know what this was like?
I'll give you that.
Goddamn Insurrection. With Picard, and that woman that wanted to polish his
God,
dome.
you're right.
Oh,
Ugh.
ew. Yes. Okay. It took me a second to remember. I was like, the what now? But yes. That was hideous.
Anij, yeah.
On the other hand, when we saw Beverly fall in love with a Trill, I was totally into it because, I don't know, I think maybe partly
she was a better actor?
Yeah, that's probably it. Well, also just that, like, I didn't feel like Beverly was as... Not that we've seen Dax do this a lot, but I feel like Beverly just really wasn't sort of as inclined to these flights of romantic fancy as some of the people on the ship, so when she did it felt more legitimate. Plus, because she's like a little older, she's like a mom, you're kind of like...
Well, they also kind of cheated it by having her already having fallen for the character before the episode started.
Yeah, it's true.
So we sort of open up with this relationship already exists.
That's right. They were like pen pal fuck buddies for a while or whatever it was.
What was that thing? If you actually look at it, they also fell in love like overnight. But we showed up like on day 3 or something like that. Like they hadn't been together that long. But because the episode sort of started, you could kind of trick yourself into not thinking about the fact that they really haven't been together that long, and the fact that they're this into each other is kind of
also,
crazy.
Like, you don't get to see the terrible pickup line like you see in this episode.
Ugh.
Do your spots go all the way down? Except for Beverly though, it probably would have been something like, does the carpet match the drapes? You know, it would have been something like that.
No, it's a wig.
Hi.
On both.
Yeah, it was.
I wear a merkin.
Jadzia has never climbed a tree.
I was just gonna say that's actually an interesting thing, because you asked about why do the kids run around and play. This asshole's an adult and he's still climbing trees. Maybe they're just a playful race.
Maybe. Yeah, but he climbed that tree like a bitch. That was a terrible tree climb. He just like walked up like 5 feet and was like, all right, I'm in the tree.
He climbed that tree like a bitch.
It wasn't a good tree. I think they could have found a better tree.
I mean, I think it was probably in a soundstage or something, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's true. They built this tree on rock and roll.
Damn it, I was going to say that.
All of the acting in this scene was awful, including the tree.
Uh,
I think Frakes also cast the tree, to be
clearly.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, fun fact, the tree was a costume being worn by Cole
Frakes.
Meany.
Oh.
I was going to say Jeffrey Combs, because I'd be like, man, that guy is Canadian.
By Cole Meany, so what, they cut it down 5 seconds later, and that's how they tried to kill him that
No.
week?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So we learned like there's only like 30 people in this society.
Yeah.
And which means like, oh, every single one of us counts. If you leave this planet, you're probably dooming the rest of us because there aren't really enough of us for diversity and all this stuff, for biodiversity. Can't you just leave them with several cups of sperm?
Ugh.
They don't have any.
Cups of sperm. No, I know you meant like in terms of like volume, but I was literally thinking of like a solo cup filled with sperm. Here you
Guys,
go. I
there's-
made
Here's
this
the thing,
for
though.
you.
Here's the thing. They say that when everything reconstitutes...
It doesn't age.
Yeah, so he could have literally, like, just 10 seconds before phasing out, just been like, there you go. Just leave that on a shelf.
Yeah, but the problem is that when the planet reforms, then everyone just gets a rain of jizz on their face, because...
Well, no, because it's in a cup.
No, the cup isn't gonna re-solidify that way. The
Yeah,
jizz,
well, they said that
the consciousness, the consciousness of the jizz has floated away through the ether.
This has gone to a place.
Millions of sperm with their own little gotta find the egg, have floated out of the cup, and it's just everywhere, you monster.
Oh boy.
I regret saying words.
I always do.
I'm glad I could bring us to
I mean,
this
I don't know.
place
I
together.
think the whole fucking society should leave. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, why don't they just go?
Like, I get it. It's cool
Seems
to
like-
live as a
Because
ghost.
they're gonna live for fucking ever, dude. That
No,
sounds
they're gonna
awesome.
die because what they said is that once the cycle of the sun cycle that's causing them to phase in and out, once it gets to a certain point, they're gonna disappear from both universes.
Well, yeah, but now they're stabilizing that,
Well-
so...
They will live in the future when they have time.
Here's the thing, though.
60
But
years
yeah,
from now.
I was waiting for there to be like if we leave the planet, we'll die, it turns out, because of...
We need the gamma radiation now to
Quantum-
continue surviving.
Yeah, I was waiting for that, just like, oh, wait.
If
Because
one person
didn't we just
leaves-
have an episode like that recently where it was like if you...
Well, the zombie planet where Kaiopaka lives
Yeah,
now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'm
Well,
thinking of that. That wasn't
in-
recent. That was ages ago.
In Brigadoon, if one person leaves the town, the whole town ceases existing.
Oh.
Yeah, no, what they should have done is had this guy leave, and then we find out that he's been so accustomed to the planet that he can't survive in normal space. So he just
Yeah.
dies horribly, and then Jadzia has a sad.
I'm picturing that scene in X-Men when Senator What's-His-Fuck melts into a puddle. I think that would have been good. A little puddle.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing I did kind of like was that, and I mean, they ultimately then go back on it like 5 minutes later, but that this dude was like, we're in love, but you shouldn't have to give up your life, so fuck it, I'll give up mine. Because so often the narrative is the guy is like, come on, your life isn't as it, come be with me, and
Yeah,
he's just like, no, of course, I'll just fuck it.
Yeah, that was nice. Especially thinking of, like, what episode was it when Troy and other Riker, and he's like, yeah, let's go. And she's like, fuck that. I have a life. I'm staying here. You do whatever. You do you, buddy.
Yeah. But yeah, then they fuck it up 5 minutes later where she's just like, you have a sad, I'll give up my life. It's like, he has a sad for the wrong reason. Letting this society, like, fuck off on their own is fine. They suck.
They seem perfectly
This is
nice.
just like 30
Yeah,
people.
but if they can't lose one guy,
Well, this guy
whose
is their
job
biggest-
is so vague.
No, this is their only scientist in 30 people. So when they first come back, and I'm actually very surprised when they come back and they're like, okay, we got 12 days while we're here. We got to use all our days to figure out this science thing. Let's throw a giant party.
Yeah, it's a damn good
Yeah.
thing that Defiant
Guy.
was there, because they would have never figured that out on their own.
Oh, no, they
Nope.
never would have. How advanced scientifically are they?
Who the fuck cares?
I mean, they were...
Good answer.
They were apparently from a spacefaring culture. They're just... I think they said their expedition crashed or something.
Yeah, their expedition crashed and they turned into ghost people. Meanwhile, that other lady created a fucking boo box to put people in.
Yeah, this society does suck less than that one.
Yeah,
What?
all these
What
maroon
society?
societies were.
The one where Cisco and O'Brien go down and they put Cisco in a hot box out in the field.
What the fuck does that have to do with this?
Oh, P.S.
We're just talking about maroon societies.
Ugh.
Can I ask a question about when we did our bottom 3?
Yeah.
No.
Did I include Paradise on my list of bottom 3? That's the one I meant. I didn't mean Sanctuary. I meant Paradise. That explains everything. That explains everything.
Do you want me to go back and change it?
Yes,
change it in the
please.
article? Okay,
That
I'll
would be
do
great,
that.
because when you asked me, I was like, Sanctuary? Yeah, what does suck about Sanctuary?
Wait.
And then it
That's
occurred to me that maybe I was
hilarious.
thinking of Paradise, like a fucking
That's
Oh,
asshole.
so you
hilarious.
named Paradise on the episode, but you meant
No, she said Sanctuary.
I meant, okay, quick note, everyone. I didn't mean Sanctuary. I meant Paradise. Paradise sucks.
Yeah, that's already live, so I can't do anything about that.
That's fine. I'm doing it right now.
Oh, okay. The record has been cleared.
Yep.
Thank you.
It will be reflected in the blog post.
Thank you, Ames.
And I'll find you a nice screen grab.
Awesome. Yay.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so this
Well,
episode was
yeah.
like the I was thinking it was like the Deanna Troyification of Jadzia.
Oh no.
It almost feels like, because I was even thinking, like, I had this thought right at the start of the episode where it's like, oh, now that they have the Defiant, they're gonna fucking start doing Planet of the Week episodes. God damn it. You know, we have TNG for this. We don't need this in our DS9.
But see,
TNG's
now-
over. TNG's
Yeah,
over
TNG
now.
We're
was
gonna
off
be
the air
getting
at this
Voyager
point.
soon anyway, and that's just TNG Part 2.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wasn't interested in a Planet of the Week episode. I wasn't interested in a Jadzia romance / Planet of the Week episode. So
I wasn't interested in, objectifying Kira so fucking much.
yeah, this episode just failed.
2 episodes in a row, y'all.
Yeah,
2 episodes in a row.
And even freaking Quark this episode. I complained to Jake that like every single one of the buttons on a scene where Quark had to deliver the things I do for money. It's like,
Yeah.
oh god, every single one of them was like, wow, they needed a button to finish this scene, and it's awkward and bad, and it's poorly written.
Poor Armin
Yeah,
Sherman.
I could have done without that whole... I could have done without this whole episode. A plot, B plot. We're good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck it.
I would have
I want
preferred
it
if
die.
all we got was the C plot, which was Odo discovering his first boner. If we could just have that episode, it would have been fine.
How do people just carry gold pressed latinum around with them? Those things are huge.
Well, if you're a fancy alien, you have special sleeve pockets.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why that guy had those fap flaps back in TOS. That's where he put his
He
space
was
money.
loaded.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we know.
And that's half the battle, I'm told.
G.I. Joe.
I don't get it.
It's a reference
I
to
don't-
some
I
80s
don't-
shit. No,
I
dude,
don't
that's
need
it.
to get it.
No, that's all. I was just saying it was a reference to some 80s shit. All right. Anything else?
Bah.
No.
All right. Well, in that case, if you like what you heard and you want to hear more, what the hell is wrong with you? You can find us.
You fool.
You can find us wherever fine podcasts are sold. I mean, you found us this time. I figure you're smart enough to do it again. But just in case, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. Yes, that's right. Apple Podcasts, yes. If you want to visit our other homes on the web, which we have many, you can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at SSHB Podcast. You can find us on Facebook by searching for A Star to Steer Her By, or you can visit sshbpodcast.com, which is our website. It really just leads to our Tumblr, but someday, maybe, there will be a website. Is that going to be the gimmick? The very last episode, 25 years from now, we finally have a website?
It's just the archive at that point, because the rest of us are crazy and gone.
Golly.
What's next week?
Yes. Join us next week when we will discuss Defiant and Fascination. 2 more episodes of Deep Space Nine. I don't even know if they're good or bad. This is not one of those weeks where I know. I have been Caitlin.
I have been Jake.
This has been
what?
Chris.
We're going out of order, guys.
What just
Whoa,
happened?
Whoa!
How
can we
Train
do this?
wreck.
Do over.
Caitlin, Jake, Chris, Ames.
That is
Got
the
There
it.
we
way
go.
of
There
the
we go.
world.
I have been Caitlin.
I have been Jake.
This has been Chris.
And this is always Ames.
And I leave you with this. Rule of Acquisition 75. Home is where the heart is, but the stars are made of latinum.
That is weirdly poetic for the Ferengi.
Why is that a rule?
As a side note, did you guys notice that Odo referred to a group of Ferengi as Ferengis?
Yeah.
Ooh,
why?
You're right, he did.
It just really bothered me. I was like, no, they're not Ferengis, they're Ferengi. It's a plural, isn't it?
It's like goose.
No, that's geese.
That's geese. That's a different word.
Right, what am I thinking of?
Moose.
It's like moose.
Yes.
It's like goose. No, Chris, no.
Wait, the
It's not
plural
like-
of moose isn't
Ferengis.
Ferengis.
There's your
There's a
title.
moose loose in the
There's your
noose.
title,
a
Chris.
Ferengoose.
Wait, what is it? I missed it.
The Ferengis.
Ferengis.
Actually, that doesn't work at all, but have fun.
Not at all.
Good
There's-
luck.
Well, he
You
said
know
it
what?
was like moose.
There's a few one-off episodes that if the one they're paired with works, I can make it work.
All right, I'm
Go
going to stop
ahead.
my recording now if we're done with the
Me
episode.
too.
Okay.
Me too.